for the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele. Let me welcome our ministers that are here, especially the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Honorable Minister, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, the Honorable Minister of Health, the Honorable Minister of Education, all the ministers of state that are here. I'd like to welcome Excellencies, Deputy Governors representing the government. Let me especially welcome the country rep of the World Bank to Nigeria. I'd like to welcome all the state commissioners of budget. All right, they just told me now that we also have a representative of His Excellency the Senate President. I welcome you. Thank you very much. So let me welcome all from the states, Honorable Commissioners of Budget, Commissioners of Finance, Commissioners of Education, Commissioners of Health, permanent secretaries that are here. And I'd like to especially appreciate the permanent secretaries of Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Minister of Education, and Minister of Finance. I'd like to welcome the here, diplomatic corps, our royal fathers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you formally to a program that is one agenda, 5 programs, one nation. The future of a nation is rarely decided in a single moment. It is shaped by the choices that that nation makes about its people. The choices to educate, to protect, to nourish, to empower, and to prepare every citizen not only to meet the demands of today, but to seize opportunities of tomorrow. That is why we are all gathered here. Today's ceremony is more than the launch of a collection of programs. It is the launch of a shared national commitment. A commitment to people at the center of development, to strengthen the systems that shape their lives, and to ensure that every investment in education, health, nutrition, skills, and productivity contribute to a stronger and prosperous Nigeria. The theme of this event is accelerating human capital development through strategic partnerships, reform, and results. I welcome all of you, but to formally welcome all of us, as I also especially welcome the Honorable Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, is the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning. And he'll be having 2 assignments as he steps forward here. He'll be welcoming us, and then he will also make a presentation concerning his ministry. Please welcome here the former Governor of Kebbi State, an amazing nationalist. He loves Nigeria too dearly. Please welcome Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, CON.
Thank you, Ebere. Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, the Senate President, who is ably represented by Senator Musa, Deputy Governors of the different states that are here, and representative of other state governors, Honorable Country Director of the World Bank, Michael Burgess, and all the team from the World Bank, the technical team leads, as well as other staff members of the World Bank, UN resident representative in Nigeria, commissioners from the different states, and other officials who are all in one way or the other engaged with these programs: Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus, Additional Financing Solution for Internally Displaced Persons and Host Communities, Human Capital Opportunity for Prosperity and Equity, HOP programs, and to welcome all of you and appreciate all of you for coming, most especially for the and approved that this launch take place today of the programs which are shared by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, the Ministry of Education, as well as the Ministry of Health, all programs that are supported by the World Bank. The 3 programs, or rather the 5 programs we are about to launch today, are reflective of the desire to address the twin areas of both livelihood, cost of living challenges, reduction of poverty, as well as support to the human capital effort the federal government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have undertaken in the last 3 years. Today's event represents yet another milestone in our collective efforts to translate the vision of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President into concrete interventions that directly touch the lives of the poor and vulnerable Nigerians. This is a manifestation of the abode commitment of this administration to building a resilient, inclusive, and prosperous nation where development opportunities reach every citizen, especially truth. Equally, to ensure that with the HOPE program, additional impetus is given to health and education efforts that are being undertaken by the administration and other tiers of government. These programs have been carefully designed as strategic programs to reduce poverty, to support cost of living crisis that the world is witnessing, particularly as a result of the Ukraine-Russia war, as well as the Middle East war, which have affected the energy prices, and Nigeria being a major user of fertilizer, as well as petroleum and gas prices being major determinant of cost. We are also facing similar shock. So, supported by the World Bank, and we must thank them for the generous commitment to both our reforms in the last 3 years and specific support to this program. These programs are put in place to strengthen social protection, expand economic opportunities, improve human capital outcomes, and support the poor and vulnerable communities across Nigeria. These programs are additional to the wider effort of the government, as well as other support that are in place by both government and other development partners. The macroeconomic reforms have released remarkable resources, some significant amount of resources for government to invest in these areas, but that investment is not enough, particularly in the short run. Thus, the need for additional support from both the World Bank and the development partners. Secondly, Nigeria being a federation, all of these programs are states as well as the federal government are cooperating in ensuring that both the twin challenges of livelihood, cost of living crisis, poverty eradication, as well as human capital development as envisaged by our constitutional federalism are all supported by the three tiers of government. So these are all federation programs that are the responsibilities of all. The NG Care Addition Program built on the success of the first NG Cares program, which was post-COVID support program, a $750 million intervention, which was implemented between 2021 to 2025, and which reached 17.6 million direct beneficiaries across Nigeria. Beneficiaries include poor and vulnerable individuals, households, farmers, nano, micro, and small enterprises, and communities affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as other socio-economic shocks. This additional financing of $500 million will further deepen the impact and strengthen livelihood support, food security, community resilience, and social protection systems. The other program we are launching, which is also NG Cares, is for the 37 states as well as the Federal Capital Territory. In addition to that, we are launching the Solution for Internally Displaced Persons, which is a $300 million credit which addresses challenges, the further hurdles that is faced by states with significant internally displaced populations and host communities that are affected by those conflicts, and supporting and the temporal support they are giving to internally displaced persons, as well as climate-related shocks. Rather than focusing solely on humanitarian assistance, which is being met by the Ministry of Poverty and Humanitarian Poverty Eradication and Humanitarian, SOLID program adopts a long-term development approach aimed at restoring livelihoods, strengthening resilience, improving access to social services, as well as supporting local infrastructure and promoting social cohesion. This is for a number of states which are on us, as we present, will be on by the states are selected. The HOP program is supported with a $1.5 billion program, and it's a three-component: HOP governance, HOP primary health care, and HOP education. We'll hear more from both ministers of health on the primary health care, as well as the Honorable Minister of Education for the education component. But the programs together are targeted at strengthening governance systems at the lowest level of government, probably and structure, and improving healthcare delivery, enhancing learning outcomes in a decentralized manner, and again utilizing a whole of government approach, meaning we expect local governments to play a role, state governments to play a role, and overall coordination with federal government, as well as whole of society, because we want more people to pay attention to all those efforts. Your Excellency, the true strength of these programs lies in their complementarity. NG Care builds resilience and strengthens institutions, supporting the broader macroeconomic reform, the generation of prosperity in all the 8,809 wards in the country, as well as helping us in the march towards a $1 trillion economy. SOLID further supports those states that are more challenged with internally displaced persons or the obligation or the hosting those communities, as well as helping them with more resources to build resilience, to ensure that human capital is not impaired by the challenges of internal displacement, and ensure that outcomes in health, education, and governance are maintained. Together, they form an integral framework for tackling poverty and vulnerability while creating opportunities for sustainable development. The economic reforms are complemented by social investment, human capital development, and targeted support for most of those in need. In essence, they translate the renewed hope agenda into measurable results and impact on the life of poor and vulnerable Nigeria. The success of these programs will depend on effective coordination, accountability, and commitment from all implementing institutions and stakeholders. I wish to appreciate the World Bank, development partners, the Nigerian Governors Forum, local governments, state government agencies, as well as the various hardworking teams that have played a role in bringing us here to witness this milestone. Our role is just coordination. This is a whole of government effort. Every minister here, every ministry here, every MDA have a role to play. What Mr. President intended is that we will mobilize to ensure that attention is paid to each ward in Nigeria, understanding the needs, the challenges, using resources and skill sets from various and cooperation between the three tiers of government as well as our private sector to ensure that we generate more inclusion and enhance human capital development as quickly as possible. Mr. President attended a meeting of the National Economic Council on October 20th, 2025, where he urged tiers of government, particularly states, to focus and provide more resources for both livelihood support, grassroots development, as well as human capital development. And the Renewed Hope World Development Program was approved in that meeting for the Federation. Resources are already being set aside to complement these other resources we are mobilizing, as well as resources that the three tiers of government have additional to this. The whole idea for Mr. President is that our reforms should translate into better livelihoods and including everyone, as well as providing human capital development. And today, these programs, which are a continuation of those efforts, are being launched. Thank you very much. I've been to briefly speak about the three programs that the Ministry of Budget and Planning are coordinating. And let me just say we are coordinating it because the Ministry of Budget and Planning is the coordinating is the secretariat of the Federation of our federalism, is the secretariat of the Federal Executive Council, and under our national planning consensus, the Ministry of Budget and Planning is responsible for the implementation of Chapter 2 of our Constitution, which are fundamental objectives and directive principles of state, which contain a set of irreducible minimum of national consensus of what we want to achieve: economy, health, environment, food security, as well as even the duties of citizens. So ours is essentially to ensure that all tiers of government are working together in cooperation to ensure the delivery of these outcomes. I've already spoken about the 3 programs. So next slide, please. The NG Cares that was implemented between September 2021 and December 2025 as a federation program has recorded significant milestones in poverty reduction, strengthening resilience, and in the 3 result areas, over 17 million people were affected. The uniqueness of the NG Cares is that it is a demand. So different states will decide in the different result areas what they want to give priority to, given the peculiarities. But all of the 3 result areas, for example, in the NG Cares 1, are supportive of the recovery from COVID. And learning from that, the new program, which is the NG Cares additional financing, is about building resilience. And it can't come at a better time than now, because, like I earlier said, there's a cost of living crisis outside, particularly from international developments in continuing challenge in Ukraine and Russia, as well as the new ones in the Middle East, which have impacted on input prices that affect almost all areas. So this is a program that can help us address, in addition to what we have been doing, some of the pressing issues about supporting domestic production, particularly by those at the lowest artisanal producers, whether farmers, whether fishing communities, whether livestock, whether small, nano, micro, and small-scale enterprises, all coming from the states, from the ward to the collated at the state, local government level, collated at the federal, at the state level, then supported by the financing, both the financing provided by this program and certainly financing that is also mobilized by the Renewed Hope War Development Program. Next slide, please. The next slide shows the 4 different result areas and the target. It is estimated that at least 38 million households will be supported by this new program. Next slide. The solution for internally displaced persons is also additional revenues for livelihood, resilience, and human capital support, just for like the other 2, but this is additional resources available particularly for those identified states, which include Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, Katsina, Benue, as well as Gombe, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Plateau, Sokoto, and Taraba. And there you have it. Mr. President's determination is to ensure that we mobilize resources and equitably send them to where the challenge is. And there can be no better demonstration on Mr. President's equity and believe that we should help those who are most and the beneficiaries here. Last but not the least, the Hope Governance Program, which I earlier said, this is a 3-in-1 program, which is to support enhancing and optimizing all the efforts that are being put by the Ministries of Education as well as Ministry of Health in ensuring that we get our health right. A lot of effort have been done with our resources, but they are not adequate because we are in a heavy lifting phase. We need more resources. And therefore, the Hope Governance, where again the World Bank, convinced of the ingenuity of the designs, supported these 3 programs with $1.5 billion in all, $500 million for the HOP governance, $500 million for the HOP health, as well as $500 million for the HOP education. These three programs, as well as the other programs, are supposed to speak to each other at the lowest level, which is the ward level, because and complemented by other programs from other ministries, from other MDAs, from other states. The net effect or net result of all this is, and in conclusion, is a challenge that Mr. President have already given at the National Economic Council, where he said that our reforms have succeeded at the macroeconomic level. Our macroeconomy is predictable. We have restored our access to private capital, particularly international capital, and increasingly people, wealth holders, are putting their faith in us. But we have to be deliberate about ensuring that everyone is included. Therefore, the grassroots programs, we have to be intentional, both in livelihood and human capital development, and thus the President's leadership in this direction, which saw us. So I also want to use the opportunity to thank all our developers who have been supporting us, in addition to the World Bank, greatly over the last few with several programs. And this, we believe these two platforms will ensure better coordination and synergy, and ensure that we generate more value from those investments. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Any round of applause must be double. He has worked hard here. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. Let me quickly welcome some of our very special guests who are here. First, the representative of His Excellency Godswill Obotakpabio Jisu, and represented here by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance, distinguished Senator Mohammed Sani Musa. Senator, I welcome you. Thank you very much. We already have two governors seated here. One will be representing the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. I'd like to welcome His Excellency Lucky Orimisan Ayidatiwa, Governor of Ondo State, that is here with us. I welcome you. And also here is Alhaji Umar A. Namadi, Governor of Excellency. I welcome you. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the presentation of the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, it has shown that these flagship programs are designed to bring together the efforts of government, development partners, private sector, civil society, and communities under one coordinated vision. A vision that recognizes that lasting development cannot happen when education goes without health care, when skills grow, and when reforms exist without measurable outcomes. To give us the health component of these programs, let me welcome here a man that I've always been a fan of. I love him so dearly. Last night, Lionel Messi played for Argentina. He's my own Lionel Messi. Please welcome here Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, Honorable Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, here ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, His Excellency, the Senate President, here also ably represented by Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, Excellencies, the governors of Jigawa State, Ondo State, Borno State, all the deputy governors that are here, my senior brother, the Minister of Budget, all members of the Federal Executive Council that are here, permanent secretaries, directors, distinguished development partners, honorable commissioners from all the states that are present, may I also stand on the existing protocol. I think the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning has already provided the bigger picture from the macro fiscal reforms of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which have worked, digging deeper into the sectoral reforms and how different strands of financing are coming together. One nation, federal government, states, local government, development partners, all Nigeria to rise to the vision, the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency Mr. President. For the health sector, the sectoral reform is articulated in the blueprint which was unveiled by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on December 12, 2023, where all the state governors signed a compact with the federal government, local governments joined, development partners signed. The reforms were anchored around effective governance, providing efficient, equitable, and quality health system for all Nigerians, including financial protection, unlocking the healthcare value chain, the creation of PVAC, as well as providing health security by improving the detection, prevention, and response to public health threats. We articulated a vision for one plan, one budget, and one report. That provided an anchor. And over the last 3 years, with the support of various financing streams, of which Hope PHC, a part of Hope Gov, Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, the Multi-Donor Trust Fund, the domestic financing in the federal government, as well as at the subnational level, have combined for Nigeria to achieve some remarkable results, which will be further fueled by the Hope investment. The federal government and all of us working together have delivered on the compact that we signed in 2023 on revitalizing primary health care, equipping hospitals, and expanding emergency medical transport. More than 3,000 primary health care centers have been revitalized to level 2 in these last 3 years, and about 1,000 are in the process of being completed, thanks to federal government and states working together. These are some of the pictures before and after, and you can see for all those PHCs, we have those evidences so that it's very tangible. More than 43,000 women and newborns have been transported via the emergency medical system. The 43,000 women who have received emergency services for obstetrics between 24 October and March 2026, and even more now. 78,000 frontline workers retrained, and 45.5 million visits to primary health care centers per quarter. When we came in 2023, it was less than 10 million a quarter to the BHCPF facilities. This is a very tangible improvement in line with the reform agenda that we have set. And at the secondary level, the secondary facilities, 251, had received maternal newborn health equipment worth 200,000 per state as part of this collective effort and supporting what the states themselves are doing. And almost all the governors here and the deputy governors, and I believe most of the states, have contributed in this direction, working together to roll so that we can improve the health outcomes for Nigerians. Now, when you look at the data, and the next slide will show you very real, this is a very beautiful slide. From 2023 to 2026 May, you can see institutional deliveries in Mami local governments. You can see ANC 4 attendance, that's the 4th antenatal care attendance. So there is tangible increase in utilization on the Mami facilities, but also broadly across the country. This is remarkable, and I think our development partners have confirmed, and I think we think Nigeria under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actually making some important strides in changing the direction of health outcomes. Next slide, please. This is the trend in Penta 3 coverage. That's the pentavalent vaccine. You can see 2023, we're still struggling, but it's improving. The same thing with trends in new family planning acceptance, which gives women control over their reproductive health. These are all proxies for the functionality of the healthcare system, which is in this period of time. Next slide. With very good data, you can see how modern contraceptives have increased from 2018 to 2024, and also the jump between the last 2 years. The most recent one was from the mini DHS, which has completed, effectively showing the progress that was being made in the last 2 years with the population survey. All to highlight the program for results, the whole program and the overall reform is also anchored around measurement, around data and evidence, around accountability, to show that we are continuing to make progress and that this trajectory at the sectoral level will improve. And I think with this, you can understand that the reforms at the sectoral level, health, education, the humanitarian sector, the social sectors, are really about the people. And in the wisdom of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the growth is important. So the infrastructure, the growth, the investments, energy, and all of those are very important for the growth, for poverty reduction. But at the end of the day, as Chinua Achebe said, Nigeria is people, and investing in the people is what these programs are about. It's about the mothers, the children, is the poor, the vulnerable, education, and is a basis for human capital development, human capital accumulation that will fuel the prosperity that is in the vision of this president. So thank you, and I think I'd like to thank also our development partners for their support. The thought partnership, not only the financing is a good contribution, but the thought partnership, the analysis, the technical support, and all the state governments, the local governments, including civil society and the private sector who have joined us on the accountability journey, on the quarterly performance reviews, on the joint annual reviews that we are undertaking to show the progress that we are making so that we can course correct if what we are doing is not working well, but we can double down where it is working well. Clearly, the health sector transformation is going in the right direction and will continue in that direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate. Can we put our hands together one more time for him? Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome here His Excellency, the Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umaru Zulum, one of the finest and wonderful governors of Nigeria. Your Excellency, I celebrate you. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from the presentation of the Honorable Minister of Health, it's very clear that for human capital is not built in it begins with a healthy mother. It grows through proper nutrition. It's strengthened by quality education, expanded through relevant skills, and supported by decent employment. The man who is coming next understands all of these intricacies and how integrated these programs are. Let me welcome the Honorable Minister of Education. Please welcome Dr. Tunji Moruf Alausa.
Let me begin by thanking His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is ably represented today by the Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Minister for Finance, Mr. Tayo Oyodele. Today in Nigeria, we have a president that has transformed the entire sector of this country in a way that no one can imagine in the last 3 years. These positive transformations has impacted every single sector. But for us, in the education sector, I believe we are one of the biggest beneficiaries of this president. And we've enjoyed significant support from the president. And that's what we're witnessing with all our reforms, the Nigeria Education Sectoral Renewal Initiative. At this point as well, I'd like to recognize the representative of the Senate President, Distinguished Senator Sani Musa, and our governors that are here, Governor of Ondo State, my dear brother, Governor Loki Ayeditiwa, Governor Namadi of Jigawa State, and Governor Zulum of Borno State. Education remains the biggest investment any government can make in its citizens. And this is what this president is doing, exactly that. We have a president that fervently and benevolently believes in education as a bedrock of our economy. And as the president advances his plan to move Nigeria to a $1 trillion economy just in 4 years from now, we need education as front and center. And I'll quote the president from one of the last speeches. No nation can rise above the quality of its education. Our administration remains committed to ensuring every single Nigerian child has access to quality education and opportunities needed to succeed in modern world. And that's why we're here today. One agenda, 5 programs, and 1 nation. I'll tell you what hope for quality education for all is all about. It's a $552 million investment from the World Bank and the global partners for education. The scale of its impact, it targets almost 30 million Nigerian children all across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. This investment will support 500,000 public school teachers, and it will impact 65,000 public schools, either in form of renovation or new school construction. And the focal area of this hope will be improving the quality of basic education, increasing access to learning opportunities, particularly the vulnerable, as well as strengthening education system across the 36 states of the Federation. And I'm happy to report all our 36 states and FCT are all participating in Hope Education. It's a program for results. On the fact that the subnational government will achieve certain DLI, delivery indicators, and will be paid based on that. And at the end of it all, it's designed to improve foundational learning, reduce learning poverty, produce better educated and skilled youth. And it's structured to be delivered via structured pedagogy for foundational numeracy and literacy. And also, it would decentralize the management funds. This will be managed at the state and at the local government levels. And also, we'll be using a lot of data. We've seen that we recently launched a digitized Nigeria Education Management Information System, where we now have all the state indicators, number, teacher to pupil ratio, teacher to classroom ratio, all on the cloud. We have those data at state level, local government level, and at world level. Hope Education is delivered to bring accountability and more democratization to our education system. At the end of it all, as part of the 5 programs the President is launching today, it will be catalytic to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for human capital development. I'd like to thank World Bank for your support And I'll use the country director, Mr. Matthew Vargas. You've had listening ears every time we call you for meetings at our ministry with regards to HOPE and the other World Bank development credit that we have. Thank you. And I think as the Minister for Budget and National Planning for your leadership in coordinating all these programs. And thank you all. It's a great day for this country. We now have what I call one government in action. Thank you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Education. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have listened to 3 ministers here this morning, and my takeaway is that these programs are not separate ambitions. They are connected chapters of one national story. That is why strategic partnership is needed. No government can alone unlock the full potential of over 200 million Nigerians. Progress becomes sustainable when institutions work together, when public and private sectors align their strengths, when development partners share expertise, when communities take ownership. In a few minutes from now, we shall be enjoying a short documentary on these integrated programs. Let's have it.
We have a unique opportunity to equip a new generation with the tools to shape an Africa that leads, not follows, in the century.
Every great economy is built by its people, and human capital remains a country's greatest asset. So how do we build human capital in a nation of over 200 million people? The federal government of Nigeria, together with the World Bank and state governments, launched a landmark $2.42 billion investment in Nigeria. 5 flagship programs with one shared purpose: unlocking Nigeria's assets. All starts with life. To build a nation, you must first preserve it. Through Hope Health, primary healthcare systems are being rebuilt from the ground up, ensuring maternal survival, essential medicines and health insurance reach the heart of our communities.
We are transforming health for Nigerians from a luxury for a few to a fundamental right for everyone. We are aiming to provide quality, affordable basic healthcare services to more than 40 million Nigerians, and to ensure that all Nigerians have access within affordable limits for their households and for themselves.
A healthy child can finally dream, and these dreams take shape in the classroom. Hope Education is a $552 million investment to improve the quality and reach of basic education across Nigeria.
With this Hope World Bank credit, we will be supporting over 30 million public school students nationally, over 500,000 teachers in 65 schools would also be impacted, as well as over 10,000 non-formal learning centers nationally. This is huge impact in our basic education.
A vision is only as strong as the systems that bring it to life. That is where Hope Governance begins, the invisible architecture of progress. It ensures that resources match priorities, strengthens transparency, transforms workforce management, and holds every level of government accountable to the people.
The idea behind this program is to enhance the governance of primary health care and education, two important human capital development elements. The whole idea is to bring a whole of governance, whole of government approach, which will unify local governments, which will unify state government and federal government in understanding the best primary health care as well as basic education governance in all the wards, so that resources can be better deployed, needs can be better appreciated, and challenges can be better teased out, so that the whole of government support will bring to bear.
Now we step into the homes, markets, and farms where livelihoods are built. What began as Nigeria's response to COVID-19 has evolved into Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus Program, NGCARES. Through its first $750 million funding, it's reached more than 17.6 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians. Now with an additional $500 million World Bank financing, Phase 2 is advancing climate-smart agriculture, strengthening food security, and building more resilient local economies. This investment has the potential of 3 Nigerians.
On Thursday, July 16, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also launching 2 livelihood support programs. One is NGCARES, which is a resilience building program that is designed to support all communities across the 36 states and FCT, all wards, so as to enhance the President's vision to ensure that hardworking Nigerians in the communities they live, in the wards where they live, are supported.
For those displaced by conflict and climate shock, survival is only the next step. The true goal is reclamation. The solid program shifts the paradigm entirely, moving away from short-term humanitarian relief towards permanent long-term development. By rebuilding infrastructure and fostering integration within host communities, it allows families to stop surviving and start living again.
It is a solution for internally displaced persons. What it seeks to do is to provide a long-term solution, durable solution for internally displaced persons and also host communities.
Implemented in phases, it begins in 6 Tier 1 states, while 6 Tier 2 states prepare for future implementation. These 5 programs were never separate initiatives. They were always a single massive intentional investment, an investment in the ultimate resource of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our human capital. Nation not a single day. They are transformed one child, one family, one ward, one community, one opportunity at a time. Because when people have hope, communities become stronger.
The task before us is a collective one, and I am leading the charge as your president. A lot of work has gone into stabilizing our economy, and I must stay focused.
That's a documentary, and it shows us how well these programs are integrated. And it's also very, very clear that today's launch also affirms that meaningful development demands meaningful reform. Reform is not change for its own sake. It is a continuous effort to strengthen institutions. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a few goodwill messages. I will start with a man who has spent over 2 decades in global economic policy. He is currently the World Bank Country Director in Nigeria, and everybody loves him. To give you Nigerian names, you are beginning to look like us. Let me welcome here Mr. Matthew Verges.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Minister of Finance, Your Excellencies, Executive Governors, Honorable Ministers, distinguished. Allow me to stand on existing protocols. It is a privilege to join you today for the launch of these flagship Government of Nigeria programs developed in partnership with the World Bank and other development partners. These programs recognize that Nigeria's greatest asset is its people, creating opportunities for Nigerians to realize their potential and access productive employment is central to the country's development journey. These programs are designed to strengthen resilience, improve livelihoods, expand opportunities, and enhance access to essential services. Through the HOPE series, we are investing in stronger education and health systems, supported by more effective institutions that can deliver results for Nigerians. Through SOLID and NG Cares, we are helping to build resilience, which is the ability of people to deal with shocks of displacement or economic downturns. The presentations from the Honorable Ministers showed already having tremendous results at scale, and it's an honor for us to be part of this journey with the Government of Nigeria. We commend the leadership of His Excellency, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the federal government, participating states, and the many institutions that have worked together to bring this ambitious agenda to fruition. Let me particularly recognize the ministers that have presented the programs to you for their leadership and their commitment, which have been absolutely integral to the success of the programs. At the World Bank, we work on similar programs across the world, and the distinguishing feature of what makes a program successful, the most important is the commitment of the leadership that will allow delivery of results. And that, I think, is what you have seen here today and what we observe every day. So the Minister of Budget and Planning, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Health and Coordinating Minister for the social sectors, let me thank you all for your leadership. We also acknowledge the strong collaboration among the federal and state governments. The leadership of the governors, including the governors that are present today, have been absolutely fundamental to the delivery of these programs. Nigeria, one of the most striking features of Nigeria is its federal system, and the success of these programs have been very dependent on the partnership between the states and the responsible ministries. Let me close by saying that today's launch is not only about new programs, it's about investing in Nigeria's future through its people. The World Bank is proud to partner with the government of Nigeria, working with the other developing partners in advancing this vision, and we look forward to working together to deliver tangible results that improve the lives of millions of Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Vargas. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from all that I've heard here today, it is very clear that the true measure of success is never in the number of policies introduced, nor the number of programs launched. It is found in healthier mothers and children, better schools, more skilled young people, better productivity, stronger communities, and reduced poverty. Let me welcome a man who is in charge of poverty reduction and humanitarian affairs, the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard Doro.
Distinguished representative of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we thank you for standing in his stead, and we ask that you convey to Mr. President the full weight of our gratitude and support. Representative of the Senate President, Your Excellencies, governors here present and deputy governors here present, distinguished ministers, head of agencies, our development partners, and friends of Nigeria's poorest and most vulnerable citizens, good afternoon. It is a profound honor to stand here as we witness the birth of NG Cares, Solid, and Hope. For me, these are not merely programs, they are statements of national intent that no Nigerian, however remote or displaced, is beyond the reach of this government's care. I want to speak directly to Solid. Across the 12 focus states, from Borno to Plateau, from Adamawa to Zamfara, millions of our people carry the burden of displacement. For too long, response to their plight has been episodic. A blanket today, a bag of grain tomorrow. Excellencies, Solid changes that story, and it does so in perfect alignment with the philosophy driving my ministry's reforms initiative. The One Humanitarian, One Poverty response system is designed to move Nigeria from palliatives to pathways, where Solid rebuilds social infrastructure and strengthens local service delivery for IDPs and host communities. The One Humanitarian, One Poverty response system provides the national architecture to sustain it. One social registry, one system of identification, and one graduation pathway that a household from emergency relief to resilience to self-reliance and productivity. Solid is not a parallel effort, it is a vital pillar within one unified national response, feeding beneficiaries directly into this graduation pathway rather than leaving them in a cycle of recurrent aid. This is renewed hope in truest form. Mr. President's renewed hope agenda promised a Nigeria where growth is inclusive and no community is left behind. And NG Cares, Solid, and Hope are made tangible for our displaced and most vulnerable citizens. They are the delivery mechanism of renewed hope at the grassroots. At a time when international humanitarian financing is receding, Mr. President's leadership in mobilizing resources for NG Cares, Solid, and Hope sends the clearest message yet. Nigeria will care for her own in fulfillment of the renewed hope agenda. We in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction pledge our full alignment, coordination, and partnership in the successful delivery of this program. Congratulations, Nigerian. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless you.
He delivered it with such clarity, you felt you were listening to a podcaster. Let's put our hands together for him, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the greatest resource of any nation is not beneath the soil. It is within its citizens. Because when people are healthy, they innovate. When they're educated, they create. When they are skilled, they produce. And when they are empowered, they transform their nation. Let me welcome here a man who is leading a state where education is paramount. Probably a state where there are more professors than artisans. I'd like to welcome, representing the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, His Excellency the Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Lucky Orimi-Son Ayedatiwa.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me first of all acknowledge the Most Excellency himself, God Almighty. It's possible for all of us to be here alive and in health. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who is being represented here today by the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Professor Taiwo Oyedele, the President of the Senate, being represented by distinguished Senator Sani Musa, all the honorable ministers that are present, more particularly the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, CON, the Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Ali Pati, CON. Let me also acknowledge my brother governors that are here. Permit me to acknowledge the Governor of Borno State, Professor Zulum, the Governor of Jigawa State, Dr. Umar Namadi, FCA, all other deputy governors that are here representing the various governors, all other government functionaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be here representing the chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum, His Excellency Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, at this presidential launch of the NG Cares Additional Financing, Solid and Hope programs. Therefore, on behalf of the Nigeria Governors Forum, I congratulate His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on today's official launch of the NG Cares Additional Financing, Solid and Hope programs. Let me also commend the honorable ministers for their presentations. Wonderful presentation about the execution of various programs of the federal government, on the journey so far, and expectations in the days ahead. This occasion today marks another key step towards turning the Renew Hope agenda into tangible benefits for Nigerians. As it has been rightly put, one agenda, 5 programs, one nation, which are to be delivered together to transform lives in various sectors of education, health, and human capital development. Central to this ambitious project is the belief that economic reforms should deliver better opportunities, stronger institutions, improved public services, and greater prosperity for all Nigerians. Today's programs gives practical expression that vision, investment that strengthens governance, protect vulnerable households, build human capital, and improve resilience across our country. We are especially encouraged that the World Bank continues to partner with Nigeria in a way that recognizes how our federation actually works. Thank you so much. Over the years, that partnership has extended beyond the center, strengthening public financial management in our states, expanding social protection, supporting agricultural productivity, and helping to build the institutional systems that enable results to be measured and trusted. NGKs stand as proof of what is possible when the federal government, the states, and our development partners hold themselves to one standard of accountability. We are not simply launching new projects. We are building the institutional foundation, public financial management, service delivery, the resilience of our states, and the sustainability of our states as well. We are strengthening the institutional foundations required to sustain inclusive growth, improve service delivery, and enhance the resilience of our various states. These are objectives that align closely with the aspirations of the Renew Hope agenda of the Nigerians' long-term development ambitions. We recognize that sustainable development is a shared responsibility, and we are determined to continue strengthening governance, improving accountability, and achieving tangible results for our citizens. The 36 states remain fully committed to working collaboratively with the federal government, the World Bank, and all development partners to ensure that these programs achieve their intended impact. I want to express our appreciation to the World Bank for its enduring confidence in Nigeria and for its continued investment in strengthening both national and subnational. We equally commend the federal government under the leadership of His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu GCFR for sustaining a reform agenda that places collaboration, institutional strengthening, and citizen welfare at the center of our national development. On behalf of my brother governors, I congratulate Your Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR on this occasion, on this important milestone, and reaffirm our unwavering commitment to working together to ensure that the promise of renewed hope is experienced by every Nigerian in every state of the Federation. I thank you all. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may God bless every one of us. Thank you for listening.
God bless you too, Your Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, and representing the Chairman of Nigerian Governors Forum at this event. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I listen to a lot of people speak here today, it's as if somebody is praying to my ears by saying that as we formally launch this Human Capital Development Flagship Program today, may they inspire stronger partnerships. May they deepen meaningful reforms. May they deliver measurable results. And may they accelerate the journey towards a Nigeria where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and every community has the capacity to prosper. I'm very sure that's the prayer of our next speaker and the final of the messages, representing His Excellency, the President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, His Excellency Godswill Obot Akpabio. Please welcome here Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance.
His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Acting Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, the Executive Governors of Borno, Ondo, and Jigawa states present, and representatives of other governors here present, the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the Honorable Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, other members of the National Executive Council, especially the Minister of Education and the Minister of Information, my brother, our development partners, particularly the Country Director of the World Bank, very distinguished invited guests, and members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good message from the President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio, at the presidential launch of the NGKS Solid and Hope programs. I'm reading this message as his messenger here. It is often said that a nation's greatness is not measured by the abundance of its wealth, but by the extent to which it uplifts the lives of its most vulnerable ones. Conviction finds expression today as we stand on the threshold of a momentous occasion. That signifies that not merely the launch of programs, but the renewal of hope and promise for a brighter future. For it is through deliberate action, not lofty ideals alone, that compassion is translated into progress and national purpose into tangible results. Today we gather to witness the inauguration of the NGKS Solid and Hope programs. These initiatives are more than policy interventions. They reflect the national resolve that development must be inclusive, growth compassionate, and public policy measured not merely by what it builds, but by whom it lifts. They proclaim that every life matters, every community deserves opportunity, and no citizen should be left behind. It is fitting that I begin by extending my heartfelt congratulations to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose leadership continues to demonstrate an unwavering commitment to building a more prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria. Mr. President, your administration has consistently affirmed that economic reform must ultimately translate into human progress. These programs give practical expression to that conviction. They remind us that the government exists to improve lives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our profound appreciation also goes to the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, whose strategic leadership and dedication have helped bring these programs to fruition. I also commend the Honorable Minister of Health and Coordinating Minister of Social Welfare, the governors of the 36 states, our implementing agencies, and our development partners, especially the World Bank, whose enduring partnership with Nigeria continues to support our national development aspirations. Thanks for helping us write another important chapter in our country's development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, every generation is remembered for the challenges it confronted and solutions it pursued. The challenges of poverty, displacement, unemployment, and food insecurity, and unequal access to quality education and health care are not unique to Nigeria. They confront nations across the world. The difference lies in whether governments respond with resignation or with resolve. Today, Nigeria has chosen to resolve. The NG Cares Additional Financing Program is a bold response to the economic disruption that have affected livelihoods across our nation. It recognizes that behind every statistics is a family striving for survival, a farmer hoping for a better harvest, a trader seeking capital to rebuild a business, or a young entrepreneur waiting for an opportunity to succeed. By restoring livelihoods and strengthening community resilience, this program acknowledges a timeless truth. The greatest investment any nation can make is not merely in infrastructure, people. The solid program speaks another defining test of humanity, of our humanity. Across our country, our fellow Nigerians who have been displaced by conflicts, insecurity, and natural disasters. They did not choose displacement. Circumstances choose it for them. Yet, even in adversity, they continue to demonstrate courage, dignity, and hope. This program assures them that they have not been forgotten. It tells them that the Nigerian nation stands with them. The strength of any federation is measured not by how it treats its comfortable, but by how it embraces the vulnerable. Solid, therefore, more than support. It is an affirmation of our national solidarity. It reminds us that we rise or fall together. That compassion is not charity, but nation building in its highest form. The HOPE program completes this remarkable vision by investing in what every successful nation has as its greatest assets: its people. Health and education remain the twin pillars upon which enduring prosperity is built. A child who receives quality education acquires the tools to shape tomorrow. A healthy citizen possesses the strength to contribute productively to national development. Every classroom strengthened, every healthcare facility improved, every teacher empowered, and every health worker equipped becomes an investment in Nigeria's future. There is perhaps no more fitting name for this initiative than HOPE. HOPE is not HOPE is confidence built upon deliberate actions. HOPE is what parents feel when they know that their children will receive quality education. HOPE is what mothers feel when accessible healthcare is no longer a distant dream. HOPE is what communities experience when government policies begin to touch everyday lives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, programs alone do not change nations. Success, therefore, requires all of us to play our parts. As the President of the Senate, I wish to assure Mr. President and indeed all Nigerians that the National Assembly remains committed to providing the legislative framework, oversight, and partnership necessary to ensure the success of these programs. We understand that appropriations must produce measurable outcomes. We understand that appropriation must produce measurable outcomes, but that oversight must be strengthened for the implementation rather than to obstruct it. And that legislation must ultimately improve the lives of Nigerians. Our duty extends beyond passing laws. We must ensure that laws become instruments of national transformation. The bill has never been the responsibility of the government alone. It flourishes when the executive provides vision. The legislature provides enabling laws. The judiciary safeguards justice. The private with confidence. Development partners collaborate in good faith, and citizens participate actively in shaping their own destinies. Nations do not become prosperous through isolated efforts. They rise because their institutions and their people move in the same direction. As we launch these programs today, let us remember that history rarely celebrates those who merely identified problems. It remembers those who found solutions. Future generations will ask whether Nigerian children return to school, whether families escaped poverty, whether displaced communities found dignity again, whether healthcare became more accessible, and whether hope became visible in the everyday lives of Nigerians. That ultimately is the true purpose of governance. It is therefore my sincere prayer that the NGKSF, Solid, and Hope programs will restore livelihoods, strengthen communities, expand opportunities, and inspire renewed confidence in the future of our nation. May they remind every Nigerian that though challenges test our resolve, they will not define our destiny. It is my honor to join all stakeholders in wishing these landmark programs outstanding success. May they deliver lasting value for Nigeria, strengthen national resilience, deepen social inclusion, and contribute meaningfully to the enduring prosperity of our country. Together, let us continue to build a Nigeria where compassion informs policy, opportunity reaches every community, no citizen is left behind, and hope becomes not merely a promise, but the lived experience of every Nigerian. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, distinguished Senator Musa. And let me use you as point of contact to appreciate all members of the National Assembly that are here for this event, House of Representatives and Senate. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. These distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we gather here to reaffirm a timeless truth that when a nation believes in its people, it invests not only in the present, but also in generations yet unborn. Because long before a nation becomes prosperous, long before its cities rise into skyline, its future is already taking shape in the minds of its people. For every nation is built twice. First, in the lives it nurtures, and then the achievements it produces. And one woman that totally believes in this, a doctor and a CFA, is the Honorable Minister of State for Budget and Economic Planning. Please welcome here, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite.
Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, today represented by Taiwo Oyedele, the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Your Excellency, the Chairman of the Nigeria's Governors Forum, Your Excellency, Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, also represented by Senator Sani Musa, Your Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, representing the Nigeria's Governors Forum Chairman. Let me use you as a point of contact to also recognize the other governors who are present and the deputy governors who are also representing their respective governors. The members of the National Assembly, especially the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, representing His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, the chairman of the Budget and Planning Committee for the House of Representatives and the Senate. members of the Federal Executive Council, especially His Excellency, my own minister, Mr. Senator Bagudu. Thank you for organizing and for convening this very important gathering. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, Your Excellency, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, all other members of the Federal Executive Council, I can see everybody here, my brothers and my sisters, you're welcome. Your Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors who are present here, thank you for coming, members of the diplomatic community, the World Bank Country Director, Dr. Matthew Regis, representatives of the World Bank, representatives of the United States and development partners, all our different stakeholders and development partners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honorable commissioners present from different states, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's a very long and exhaustive protocol list, but please permit me to stand on established protocol, and my apologies if I missed anyone out. Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, this day belongs to you. Your bold macrofiscal reforms has restored confidence in Nigeria, and in response, our development partners are giving more support through technical assistance and funding. The 2.42 that we are launching today is a direct result of this confidence from our development and foreign partners in your administration. Your reforms have created the fiscal space for this scale of investment to happen. Your Excellency, the NG Cares 500 million additional financing program approved by you has enabled Nigeria to build more economic resilience and to shift us from emergency response, especially at the grassroots level. Over 17.6 million Nigerians have already benefited from the current program, and we anticipate that this additional financing program will target 22.7 million individuals through livelihood support, food security, and social transfers. It will strengthen institutions so that the gains outlast the program. Your Excellency, the $300 million SOLID program addresses the needs of over 3.5 million internally displaced persons across various communities in 12 northern states. It delivers climate-resilient infrastructure, livelihoods, and social cohesion. It ensures that IDPs and vulnerable host communities rebuild their lives with dignity. The commitment to leaving no one behind has made this possible. Your Excellency, the $1.622 billion HOPE portfolio will transform basic service delivery in Nigeria. The HOPE governance will strengthen financial and human resource management systems, whereas the HOPE education and the HOPE health will respectively improve basic education and primary health care for millions of Nigerians, especially women and children. Your focus on human capital development has made this possible. Your Excellency, your bold reforms have attracted this investment. Your vision has inspired this partnership. Your leadership has transformed and turned policy into action to ensure that inclusive prosperity, empowerment, and lasting economic resilience in Nigeria. I congratulate you, Your Excellency, and on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku, the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali, and the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Economy, Taiwo Iyedele, I thank you, Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with immense gratitude for putting your name and your authority behind these programs. I also thank these ministers for their leadership in bringing these programs to launch and to fruition. I thank the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I also thank the entire National Assembly, the Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, especially the governors who are here representing. I thank also the State Commissioners for Budget and Economic Planning, Commissioners for Finance, Health, Education, and all very important ministries. Your collective leadership at both federal and state level is essential for translating these programs into tangible results for our people. I acknowledge my colleagues from the Federal Executive Council whose presence here today demonstrates support and alignment. This is what cooperative federalism looks like, a whole-of-government approach to delivering the Renewed Hope agenda. The World Bank deserves special recognition for your confidence in Nigeria's reform agenda. Your continued and expanding support is a powerful signal to the global community. You stayed at the table through every conversation and you put your money with confidence into the Nigerian dream, into the Nigerian economy, and into the Renewed Hope agenda. We thank you for ensuring inclusive prosperity and reducing poverty in Nigeria. I thank the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and her team, as well as the Permanent Secretary and the team of the Ministry of Finance, Education and Health, and all other civil servants and technical teams who spent months building what we have unveiled here today. I also thank the diplomatic community, development partners, our distinguished stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press for being here and for your support. I extend, finally, my gratitude to the organizing committee and the State House team who ensured this event ran seamlessly. These programs are a declaration that this government will leave no Nigerian behind. We are here with a commitment to deliver together, to transform lives, and to build a nation where hope is not a word, but a reality. Together, we will deliver the Renewed Hope agenda. Thank you all for coming, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
May God bless you too, Honorable Minister of State for Budget and Economic Planning. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after having listened to everything that's been said today about these programs, and for some time I've been thinking about simplifying the Renewed Hope agenda, what comes to mind is that these programs, and indeed the Renewed Hope agenda, means when families nurture values, when teachers inspire learning, when healthcare professionals preserve life, when private sector create opportunities, when development partners strengthen capacity, and when citizens themselves choose excellence. Come here, a man whose inspiration created the Renewed Hope agenda, and these integrated programs also woven around him. Father of the nation, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented here by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Please welcome here Professor Taiwo Oyedele.
Please be seated. It is my distinct honor and privilege to represent our dear President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, at the unveiling of the 5 federal government's flagship program today. His Excellency, the President of the Senate, ably represented by the distinguished Senator Sani Musa, Your Excellencies, the governors here present, deputy governors, honorable ministers, permanent secretaries and special advisors, development partners, captains of industries, and business leaders, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, today we take a decisive step for the Nigerian people. I welcome you all to the unveiling of the 5 landmark programs. 1, the Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus Additional Financing, NG CARES. 2, the Solutions for Internally Displaced and Host Communities Program, SOLID. And 3, which is 3 in 1, the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity Programs, Hope GOV, Hope PHC, and Hope Edu. These are not just programs, they are promises kept. Under our renewed Hope agenda, we came into office pledging to reform our economy, secure the nation, and invest in our people. Today, we act on that pledge, protecting the vulnerable, empowering communities, and building the human capital that will carry Nigeria forward. Why does this matter now? That's because positive results are emerging from our reforms. Robust growth is returning. Confidence is rising. But that progress must be felt in every household, not just in national statistics. Real prosperity means no Nigeria is left behind on our journey to a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The Renewed Hope Development Plan 2026 to 2030 is our roadmap, built on economic diversification, human capital development, and stronger states. NG CARES, SOLID, and HOPE are how we turn that roadmap into reality, taking macroeconomic stability and converting it into better livelihoods in every ward for every family. The not a story of recovery and progress. Our real GDP grew by 11.2% and nearly 10% per capita income growth in US dollar terms last year. And on track for a repeat this year, making Nigeria not only one of the fastest growing economies in the world, but also one of the fastest rates of people being lifted out of poverty. Our foreign reserves have surpassed $50 billion US. Inflation has fallen sharply from its 2024 peak. These are not abstract figures. They are the foundation for the next phase of our national development, making sure that this recovery reaches every Nigerian. Through expanded cash transfers, we have already reached 15 million vulnerable households, lifting an estimated 7.5 million people out of poverty. Today's program directly on that momentum. So what are we launching today? NG CARES additional financing, about US dollars 1.25 billion, World Bank supported program that is focused particularly on smallholder farmers and small businesses. Solid, a US $300 million World Bank finance initiative that bridges humanitarian relief and long-term development, investing in infrastructure, livelihoods, and services for displaced persons and the communities that host them. We rebuild not just homes, but hope. And Hope, the 3-in-1 program, it's a US $1.5 billion flagship investment in Nigeria's greatest assets, our people. Through Hope Gov, Hope PhD, and Hope Edu, we strengthen primary health care, improve foundational learning in our public schools, support our teachers, and build more transparent, more effective governance at the world level. It is really one strategy working together, as we have seen here today. These 5 programs are not separate efforts. They're one coordinated national strategy for poverty reduction, human capital development, and community resilience. Livelihoods, healthcare, education, social protection, and support for displaced communities reinforce one another where it matters most, and that is at the grassroots. Through our world-centric approach, we are aligning federal, states, and local governments around a single goal, which is making every ward a place of real service delivery, real opportunity, and real improvement in people's lives. I commend the Honorable Ministers of Budget and Economic Planning, of Education, and the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare for their leadership in bringing this vision to life. And I have a call to every partner. Success depends on all of us. To our states, governments, working through the National Economic Council, NGCare succeeds through your implementation. Hope succeed through your commitment to reform. And Solid succeed through your engagement with communities. I ask every federal, state, and local government partner, every development institution, and every implementing agency to rise to this moment along with us. We're building a Nigeria where extreme poverty is banished, where every child has access to quality education and health care, and where every community can withstand adversity and recover faster and stronger. That is our vision. That is our promise. Today we launch that future for millions of Nigerians in every ward, in every state. It is therefore my honor to formally launch the Nigeria Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus Additional Financing, NGCARES, the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equity Program, 3-in-1, Hope Gov, Hope Human Capital, PhD, and Hope Edu. And last but not the least, the Solutions for Internally Displaced and Host Communities Solid Program. Thank you all, and God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
While he's standing here, can we give him a presidential round of applause? Thank you very much. Thank you. So we are going to unveil the programs now, a short video. But let me invite the governors, the deputy governors, and all the ministers that are here to please join the representative of the president. Please. They're going to play it on the screen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now that we have everybody here, okay, the PAM6, the permanent secretaries that are here, federal permanent secretaries that are here, please. Okay.
We can move it to now.
What country rep? Can we? Okay, so unfortunately, some of us will be backing the screen. The unveiling will be happening on the screen as I call for the video now. Now that we have unveiled, we can turn around now and face the cameramen. The governor should remain. Let me invite members of the diplomatic corps and development partners that are here. Members of the diplomatic corps, ambassadors, development partners, ladies and gentlemen. The photographs will be continuing with the national coordinators and the rest of the people, and then the commissioners from the states in charge of health, budget, finance, and education. But for now, we'll take the national anthem as well. The national anthem, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. No tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you very much for attending. Now.